Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Houston County News. This is the first edition of our little podcast here. We hope you enjoy it. We put a lot of work into it, and our thought was it's kind of behind the scenes. Some of the stories you see in the newspaper, you might think, well, who's the weirdo that wrote that? That would be me. Or you're wondering some of the people that you read about, you see pictures of. This is kind of the 3D version, and we're very excited to do this. Coming up on the show today, we're going to have Crockett Police Chief Clayton Smith. We had a big police chase last week in town. He's got some exclusive dash cam footage. It's going to be pretty cool. And, of course, our main podcast guest today is going to be Hickson County Judge Jim Lovell, one of our kind of favorite people out there. But first, I'd like to introduce, since we're doing this on Sunday mornings, another one of our good friends, Pastor Tim Allen, who I have to say I've gotten to know over the last few years, and really a good man and a good representative of what I think we all would want Christianity to be, maybe, or what it once was or could be. But I know you're staying so busy with the church, and of course, I mean, if you list on one hand the most effective people in child welfare in the state of Texas, you're going to be at the top of that list. You've been working on this for a long time. I know that.
Well, that's a mandate. I think, we think about what ministry is. And if we do to the least of these, we've done it to Christ, and then I think that is an important job.
We've been talking about it for a while, and I know when we had the big surges at the border, the government said, yeah, we lost 40,000 kids, but we'll find them. And it's just such a terrible situation that I don't know. I'm brave enough to face down snakes and bank robbers, but facing down some of the kids and the situations that you have to deal with, that's brave. I mean, thank you for doing it. Somebody's got to do that.
Well, we got to sleep at night, so that's
Right.
why I want to be able to do that. But yeah, it's a daunting task, but you're old enough to remember if one child was missing, we saw it on every milk carton.
That's right.
And I'm thinking, 6,000 that we've admitted to in Texas, that's a lot of children.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Well, Lord willing, with the new administration, I think they're taking a different line on immigration, obviously. Maybe a lot of that will end. I think people who, not to get political, but I think people who were against closing that border oftentimes didn't see that side of it. And I know people that work for the government who rehouse those children, and some of them told me off the record, but they would say, the guy says he's this little girl's uncle. We sure hope he is, because nobody has papers. We can't prove it. And we're going to put her on a plane and fly to Chicago and go stay with your uncle. So pray for them. Yes, if you wouldn't mind, since it is Sunday and we want to start this off right, if you would say a blessing for us, we would surely be grateful.
I'm enjoying that. And thank you. I'm glad you're calling it the Houston County News rather than the Houston County Narrative.
Well, it's tough, and you and I have spoken about this. Full disclosure, I attend Pastor Allen's church regularly. I played the guitar for a little while, and the reviews came in, and I was asked to quietly exit stage left. A big cane came, and but we've spoken privately about this, and it's a tough job, because I try to keep things as kind of like Solomon and the baby is down the middle, but you're always going to make somebody mad, and so if you're one of the people that hate me, I still love you back. I don't know if that matters, but.
Well, I'm glad. I do believe we have to tell the truth.
Amen.
And I think you get so close to it.
I get singed by it sometimes, baby.
And I think that's where we begin. I can deal with truth. And then the Bible talks about it. Let not truth and mercy forsake you.
Right.
Bind it around your neck, write it on the tables of your heart. You got to start with truth.
That's right.
And then I love that, because even though it gets ugly, or you'll jump in there. And then I think you give it a good balance, and I think we need that, and it gives us something to pray about. If I know what's going on, then I can know what to do. But don't say 6,000 children aren't missing, or we don't know where they are. Let's start that. If it's broken, let's fix it.
You can't measure it, you can't manage it, right?
No, you're right.
Well, Pastor Tim, yes, sir. Thank you again, and any blessing you'd like to give to the good viewers, we appreciate
I'm excited about it. Let's go to the Lord. Father, again, we thank you for this privilege that we have of being your hand extended in a hurting world. And I thank you for Greg and this ministry. It really is a ministry of the news, because we need to know what's going on. We need to be aware. We need to be vigilant, as the scripture says. see what's going on around us, and then we can come together and we can do what we can. You often let us as people be your hand extended. We know you're God. We know that you can fix all things, but you've given us a responsibility. And Father, thank you for that freedom that we get through Christ Jesus. The freedom not to do what we want to do, but Father, the freedom to do what we ought to do, and the ability to do that. And I thank you for Greg and this outreach that we can quicken the hearts of people so that we can stand up and do the things we need to do. I pray a blessing on it. I ask that you give them good counsel. I ask that you give them good eyes to see what's going on, in a heart to be able to feel the heartbeat of what's going on in Houston County. I pray a hedge of protection around them. I pray a hedge of protection around our children, this county, those not only that are hearing, that are part of the news. That Father, we are in a journey together, and I thank you for that. I ask you to bless this journey. I ask that it would draw us ever closer together as a county, as we draw closer to you, and we'll give you all the honor and praise and glory. And Father, I ask you to supply for every one of their needs, not only physical and financial, but relational and emotional, as we endeavor to do this. It's not always easy, especially when we tell the truth. And Father, you said not that truth would set us free, but the truth that we know. So help us to know that truth. And we pray these things in your precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Pastor Allen, for doing that. Now, joining us on the program, we hope each and every week, time permitting, is Kendall Hickson. Kendall, welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you.
Now, are you feeling nervous, bored, terrified, or thinking, why did I ever get myself into this?
Well, I would say a little bit more nervous. Okay. I don't know, I'm just more nervous.
Well, you're going to do fine. Now, Kendall, you are a junior this year, I think?
Yes, sir.
Junior, homeschooled?
Yes, sir.
We talked to your older sister a bit through some of the pageants and events she's done. I know she's going off to college next year, but tell us about you. Tell us about Kendall Hickson.
Well, like you said, I've been homeschooled my whole life, and I've really enjoyed it. I also liked horseback riding and doing all my extracurricular activities, and so that's super fun. I love doing everything outdoors, and I love playing my instruments. I play violin, piano, and flute, and I'm trying to learn harp now.
Really?
Yes, sir.
I think we're going to need a concerto next podcast. Sounds like fun. I could hum along. If I get the right size bucket, I can carry it. Well, we certainly appreciate you coming on and helping with this. And Kendall's been kind enough to help with a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. She's going to be in the front of the camera as well, as you can see, and going to be reading some news. And it should be fun, right?
Yes, sir.
Whatever doesn't kill us just makes us angry. Well, Kendall, you're up. So let's start with some of the news going on this week.
Well, the temperatures may be getting a little bit cooler, but the lack of rain has led Houston County Office of Management Director Heath Murph to declare a burn ban this week for all of Houston County due to the dry conditions. This includes any and all burning in the county. County commissioners are set to confirm the ban at a Tuesday meeting set for 9 a.m. Greg, I saw the messenger online was quick to report the burn ban.
You know what? We did. And as a matter of fact, it was kind of cool. You need to go to the county website and sign up for this. So I was working there at home, and mi casa es tu casa. And I got a text message. Then I got an automated phone call. And then I got an email all telling me about the burn ban, which, if you think about it, is really, really cool. Because if there is some kind of big problem or emergency in the county, you sign up for it and you know about it before anybody else. I called Mr. Murph anyway just to make sure, because maybe the county was spamming me. But no, it's really dry out there, and we're going to have to stop that burning at least for a little while. Now, you may have heard a few dozen cars speeding through downtown Crockett last Saturday night. About midnight. I know my wife and I certainly did, and my poor dog was confused and howling at the, couple dozen sirens coming down the street. And I got a chance the other day to sit down with Crockett Police Chief Clayton Smith, who talked about this chase. Turns out it was a 17-year-old young man out of Trinity. And Trinity police were after him for some kind of felony he did there. and eventually called Houston County and said, "Hey, we're heading your way. We're coming right to you guys." And so, of course, the sheriff's deputies and Crockett police got on it, and poor Chief Smith, who I don't think he gets enough rest, sort of as it is, threw his clothes on, hopped out of bed, got in his car, and joined the chase. And as it turned out, his timing could not have been better. Have a look.
Just about the time that I made it from 7 East to around the loop to 19 South, I turned on 19 South, or South 4th, headed into town. We have a club a couple blocks down. I was going to go ahead and try to notify them, like, hey, there's a pursuit coming in. This guy's driving all over the road. Y'all make sure you clear the road. But it was too late. He had already was already approaching the loop, and I very quickly found myself right in the midst of the pursuit. Usually, when you get called out, you're like the 20th guy in the back, bringing up the rear, but I found myself right in the middle of it. So, which that's okay. I mean, I've 20 years, I've been involved in a lot of them. So, at that point, finding myself right in the midst of the pursuit, I was like, well, gosh, I'm in front of him. Maybe I can slow him down and maybe we can get this guy stopped before he goes any further. I think his intention was a lot greater than mine, because he went around me pretty quickly and accelerated and continued heading north on 4th Street. I bet we were at speeds of, at that point, probably 65, which, for that time of night in that area, that's kind of high speed. We continued on through downtown. We got to the square. As most people would go around the square the proper way, he chose not to. He went cross backwards, and
he could get a ticket for that.
Absolutely. So at this point, my sergeant is back in the lead, and I'm behind him. We're trying to warn everybody because there's the hump at the loop in 287. We actually thought that if he continued on, maybe that might jolt him a little bit, maybe get him to stop, but he chose to make a right-hand turn and go around the loop back towards Walmart. We thought it was kind of crazy that we got this guy that's fleeing from multiple law enforcement agencies, already committed the felony, but he chose to use his turn signal when he turned right on the loop. So you have to appreciate that, I guess. But we continued around the loop. He continued running through red lights and stop signs. And at one point, we were actually going to try to get multiple units around him so we could try to box him in. But he was driving too erratic to, when somebody is driving that erratic, they will go to a little greater lengths than what we might be willing to do. And so we didn't want to push him into another lane or something like that. So we just ended up staying behind him and traveled to 287 South, and he made a left, headed south on 287 towards Pennington, Groveton area. We stayed involved in the pursuit. My patrol sergeant and myself were 1 and 2. We maintained that position all the way to just south of Pennington, just about into, actually it was at the 287 and 94 split. Yeah. We chose to break off, and we turned it back over to Trinity County, and we ended up coming back to the city at that point. But they, I think they continued to pursue him all the way through Corrigan into the city of Kuntz. Yeah. Pretty lengthy pursuit.
What are they trying to do? Just buy some time, have some fun? They're trying to get home generally, I've heard? Or?
So a lot of times what we see is if they're fixing to get stopped, they have a feeling that they're going to jail for something. They try to make it to their house because they think their vehicle will not get towed. So we see that from time to time. There's times that it's people that just, they think they're going to get away. They've committed a crime or they've committed the felony, and they feel like they can outrun us. And back on this particular pursuit, there were some questions that I heard about and that were posed. Well, why didn't they stop him? Why didn't they pit him? Why didn't they? The truth is, we spiked him twice, but his tires were a heavy duty ply, so the spikes were ineffective. In a pit policy, you have to take a lot of considerations into factor. Traffic and the safety of the officer. Sure. Does he have any passengers? Are his passengers children? Yeah. And not having a lot of that information, it kind of determines what you do and don't do. But a lot of times we see, and even if you have someone intoxicated, they just don't want to be caught. And they think that at some point we're either going to give up or we're going to discontinue the pursuit. We don't do that here. We pursue them. Now, if it gets to a point where it's in a residential neighborhood and there's not a known felony or something that we have on the suspect, we will discontinue because, our citizen safety is much more important than, if we can identify them, we'll come back and catch them at a later date. But a lot of times we're going to pursue them until we get them caught, and with as minimal damage to our vehicles and as safely as our officers can. So, but every situation is different. So every situation usually has its own set of obstacles. So you just have to go with them when they present themselves.
Greg, the first of several students to become real-life royalty last week.
I know, right? Love lady. So we had Clayton Richardson, a very beautiful and talented young lady, crowned last week. All the kids that participate in that are great. I don't know how the judges choose. Now, have you ever thought about that? Is that something you go, if I wasn't homeschooled, I could go and be homecoming queen? Is that something you ever dreamed about?
It actually has been multiple times.
Have you really?
Yes.
It's not the same when mom and dad crown you homecoming queen, though, really, is it? And brother and sister sort of. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Tell us more about Clayton Richardson.
Well, she's a Lovelady senior and she keeps busy in numerous sports and FFA activities. Greg, I know you spoke to her after she was announced the winner, and it sounds like she does a little bit of everything, including golf.
I've done basketball, softball, volleyball, and track. I've been playing basketball since I was 5 years old, so it's kind of just, it's really all I know. I'm an A and B plus student. My favorite subject is English, and I really like learning about history and I like writing. After I graduate, I want to try to pursue a career in some kind of dental hygienist or assistant, something that's just, has to do with, like the kind of healthcare side of that. I really love how close-knit of a community that we are, and I feel like everyone's always supporting each other, whether it's sports or homecoming or anything in between that. It really makes it special because basically everyone's on your side and we're all a unity. I was honestly a little nervous. I knew it was going to be a pretty tight race between all three candidates. It was really just kind of nerve-wracking, but no matter the outcome, I was just happy to be a part of the court. It really just shocked me at first because I felt really honored that my classmates thought of me that way. I was a little shaky, nervous, but I was extremely happy. Don't be afraid to get yourself involved because you never know the friendships or opportunities that, you can gain by really putting yourself out there.
Well, I'll tell you, he may be new to Grapeland ISD, but Superintendent Terry Myers, certainly not new to Houston County and not new to being a superintendent, as many of you may already know Mr. Myers, but he was kind enough to sit down with me this week and have a little chat, not only about where the Sandys and Sandyettes are today, where he wants to take them the next few years, and how they're getting ready for that little thing called Peanut Festival. Take a look.
Have been a superintendent now longer than I've been anything else. This, I believe, is my 25th or 26th year as a school superintendent. And so I feel like I bring some experience to the table. As a school superintendent, my last superintendency prior to coming here was in Crockett. I was in Crockett for 6 or 7 years as a superintendent over there. And then I actually retired at the end of 2020, about the time that COVID actually, got in full swing. I've been retired since then, and the Grapeland School Board asked me to come out and look at perhaps being an interim superintendent here for a while. They were in the process of looking for a superintendent, and I got out here, and things kind of were, meant to be, so to speak, and we reached an agreement, and I wound up taking the job full time, and so. I'm here until, I call it for the duration, Greg. So.
Right. So how is it to be back? Obviously, when you're retired, you always think you got plenty of stuff to do. that's sometimes true and sometimes not true.
Right.
But what was it that eventually made you say, I want to come back and do this again?
Well, it was primarily this community and this group of kiddos here at this school. When I came in as an interim superintendent out here, I didn't come in with the intention of looking for a full-time job or a place to stay. I was going to help the school district find the right individual to come in here. And when I came in and I began to look around, the things that Grapeland needed and the things that Grapeland offered were right in my wheelhouse, so to speak, Greg. It was just all of these things I feel like fit nicely into my leadership style and the group of experiences that I have in my background.
You brought up a good point. Tell me what Grapeland has as a school district and what it still needs, kind of where.
Okay, all right.
Future.
What it does have right now is a great community, a very supportive community. The public school here does, and it also has, as I said, one of the greatest group of kiddos that I've ever been around. They're very respectful. They're very what I call get after it type kids. If you ask them to do something, they don't moan or complain generally, more than, young people would. They just get over there and they get it done. And the parents here are so supportive of us as teachers. Teachers here are still held in high regard, which is one of the things that I look for as a school superintendent is, do these folks really respect their school system in their town? And here I can say Grapeland has a great community. In fact, I made the comment a couple of times in our convocation and to our faculty in meetings, we've got a few things we need to work on as a school district, but whatever we're doing raising children as a community in Grapeland, let's continue to do it because we're doing a good job there. Now, for the things that we need, Greg, right now we're having to look, we've got all of this, what I call extra money that was coming from the federal government is gone now. And we've been living kind of, the old East Texas term, kind of high on the hog, so to speak. And now we're having to really tighten our belts. We've got to stop deficit budgeting if we can in the next couple of years to make sure we preserve some fund balance. So if something did happen bad to us, we wouldn't be having to go out to Republic or going out and borrowing money or something like that. And so we're going to protect that fund balance. We also had some instructional needs. We had some, a district that was rated a D in the past. Well, now we've already, even since I've been here since May, the beginning of May, we've already jumped a full letter grade. The whole district is a C now, and every campus is a C now. So we no longer have to deal with those less than superlative ratings, I'm going to say. Right. We're looking at our teaching and learning cycles here in the district, trying to help our teachers meet the needs of our students and actually improve that process so that our district scores even better on these accountability scores that come our way from the state. I'm not a real big fan of the accountability system coming out of the state of Texas, but it is the game that we play. It is the world that we live in. And so, to do well and gain that type of recognition for our children, our parents, and our community is kind of my job. That and just represent us in our norms. This is a very conservative community, and it suits my personality very well. And to protect those traditions and norms and expectations that this community has, that's really where I'm coming from as a superintendent.
Last question, next couple of 3 weeks, you've got a bonfire,
right?
Homecoming game, Peanut Queen pageant,
right?
Something called a peanut festival,
right.
You may have heard of.
Right.
Are you ready for all that? Because I'm telling you, that's even just as somebody who goes and takes pictures and talks to people, right. That's a busy week. Weekend, really.
And it's something fantastic. It's one of those traditions that we're talking about. It is Grapeland. You look out here, we've got this school district. Nucor is Grapeland. You look around this community, the businesses that are here, they're all Grapeland. And and that's I look forward to participating in those type of things and meeting these folks and meeting our public and let them know how much I appreciate the support that we feel here, and hoping that they see and respect an individual sitting in this chair that will make a decision and they know it's going to be a good one. They may not necessarily agree with it, but they know it'll be a good, solid decision and in the best interest of this community and this school district in the long run. That's what I strive for, is that respect of person.
Yes.
This is a lot of work, and we need help from our community.
You know what? You couldn't be more right, young lady. We do. And just like all this technical equipment you see around you and the lights and all the craziness, even that funny powder you put on your face so you don't shine in the light. We are so happy to do this. And the idea here is, look, I admit I was born with a face for radio. I got that. But everybody else is so nice. We're blessed to have Kendall with us. We've got Liam from Crockett ISD, a young man joining us next week from Grapeland. Hope to get all our schools involved, all of our local pastors involved, a lot of the elected officials and newsmakers. And, you know, when I talk about newsmakers, I don't just talk about, you know, a mayor or a sheriff or something like that, although obviously them too. You know, I want to see the lady that won the quilting contest and the kid that sold the biggest heifer and what the math club is doing. And so we do want to ask for your help to help keep this thing going. If you enjoy it, we certainly hope you do. Very open and transparent pricing for sponsorships. We want our local businesses involved. $50 a commercial. Now think about that. $50 these days probably gets you maybe 1 pound of ground beef, right?
Yeah.
So what we do is, Kendall, it's $50. Now, you can have one commercial per show, one commercial per month. That's however. But if you buy 4, right?
Yes.
4 times 50, that's like, I don't know how much that is, but it's a lot.
Yes.
I wasn't on the math club. We're going to come out and actually do a commercial for you. We're going to come out. We're going to come up with an idea. We're going to make it at your location. You know, the owner, you can be on there or use your voice or not be on it at all. But as of 4 commercials, what we try to do is we want to come out and actually do a full production. And we'd really like people's support on that. Now, you say, Kendall, I hear what you're thinking. You're going, Greg, is that the only way to support the show? You weren't thinking about that, were you? Be honest.
Not really.
Thanks for that support. No. Hey, it's Grandma's birthday coming up, right? Let's congratulate our senior. My son's science project won the blue ribbon. $25 for people that don't own a business. Maybe you got a garage sale coming up or something, or just trying to get rid of some old stuff. Hop on the show. You get thousands of people watching you, and we hope you're helping something that really is trying to do what's best and fun for our little community, and get out a little bit of news in a different way. Of course, we also take donations. We can help with that. And Kendall, is anything in particular you would like donated? I know you were speaking earlier about some kind of a vehicle.
Well, yes. I mean.
Oh, stop it.
I mean.
But if you'd like to help us, email is down below along with a phone number. Again, sponsorships for businesses, all of our local businesses. We hope you'll kind of join us on this adventure. It's going to get better, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you know, you go through a show, you watch the whole show, all 10 seasons or whatever, and then one day you go back and you watch the pilot. And you go, how did I ever get hooked on this show? It's terrible. This is the pilot. So they will get eventually better. But please contact us if you'd like to do some kind of sponsorship or donation and help us out.
We're working on getting a representative from each of the school districts to help represent their schools here on the show. To begin, let's turn to Crockett High School senior Liam McMinn with this week's Bulldogs Roundup.
Thanks, Kendall. This is Crockett High School senior Liam McMinn with this week's Bulldog Roundup. In cross country, congratulations to the Crockett Bulldog cross country teams. Varsity boys won second as a team with 3 top 15 finishers. Jaden Quintero 6th place, Victor Cruz 7th, and Sebastian Loyola 13th. JV boys won 1st place with 5 top 15 finishers. Jesus Cruz 2nd, Paco Cotula 3rd, Charlie Taylor 7th, Jared Cruz 11th, and Martin Juan 13th. The next showdown will be the district meet where the teams will run in Anderson Shiro. The Bulldog varsity football boys have the week off, but they did announce their players of the week. Thaddeus Haynes, offensive MVP. Julian Adams, defensive MVP. Kylan Yarborough, defensive MVP. Josh Ham, special teams MVP. Jakeem McKnight and Jaquise McKnight, big hit. Manny Salazar, O-line of the week, Josh Bell, D-line of the week, Caden Walker, JV Offensive Scout MVP, DC Shed, JV Defensive Scout MVP. The Bulldogs head to Westwood this Friday for an away game at 7 p.m. The Dogs go with a 3-2 record while the Panthers sit at 5-0. Let's see if we can break that streak. And in the Lady Bulldog JV Volleyball, Sarah Garcia was named Player of the Week. On the varsity side, co-players of the week, Aaliyah Chance and Stella Martinez. Congratulations, Lady Bulldogs. Thank you for watching. With this week's Bulldog Roundup, I'm Leah McMinn. Greg, back to you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Houston County News, and we have our special guest of the podcast this week, our very own Houston County Judge Jim Lovell. Judge, thanks for being here.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Well, we're very honored to have you. I know you've got a lot going on, and even on a Friday, I can see you've been out working. It looks like you got caught by a piece of fence, didn't you?
I did. Yes. I was crawling through a fence, and the wire I pressed on to make me some room broke, and I fell under the one below it and caught my face.
Well, that is, you know what? Thanks for coming on. A lot of people would say, well, you know, I gotta. But when you're like me, you're born to the face for radio. You kind of do whatever you got to do. You know, Judge, every time we talk, we normally talk about county business or get a quote from you, this or that. But I don't know if we've ever talked about your kind of background and where you come from. And there may be a lot of people out there that know you and love you that don't know much about your past either. Would you tell us?
I will. Greg, I was born in Crockett. My dad, we moved around with his occupation a little bit as a young Jim Lovell. I eventually got tired of that, and I love the country. I love this county. I moved in with my grandparents.
Okay.
And my parents came in every weekend to check on me. But as I grew up, I graduated. I started school in Crockett. I graduated, moved to Grapeland, and graduated from there in 1973 and went to work for the Texas Animal Health Commission. Went to Stephen F. Austin for a while. Did not graduate, but I did attend. Then went to work for the Texas Animal Health Commission. I worked as a livestock inspector for 17 years. And then I bought into East Texas Livestock, the sale barn here.
Sure.
And I don't know what it is, about 17 years, but I was a partner in that business for 17 years.
Okay.
And sold it and was just ranching for a few years until I became county judge. And here I am.
And you've been
9 years.
Is it already 9 years?
9 years.
Well, we know we have at least 6 more to go then, right? If it goes in 17s.
That's right. That's right. I don't know if I'll make 17 on this one or not.
Well, now, first, before I ask you the next question, so when people ask me about a county judge, I usually tell them it's kind of like a mayor, but I know that's not exactly true. So for those who don't understand what a county judge is and does, what's kind of the... Well,
for the sake of time, I'll abbreviate all I can, but a county judge presides over Commissioner's Court. Commissioner's Court tends to the business of the county.
Right.
And the county judge presides over that, but is strictly a voting member.
Right.
And no authority over the court other than to preside.
Kind of guide the meeting.
Yep.
Right.
And I'm on various boards and look after the business of the county. Comes with that position is a budget officer, which we have to set a budget once a year, and I'm the budget officer, which is, by the way, approved by the full court before we adopt it. And then I have some judicial duties where I sit on the bench. It's misdemeanor cases. But to keep from going into a lot of detail, that's a little bit about what I do.
Now, I know you're still heavily involved in DebtCog, which I should explain. That's basically a bunch of East Texas governments that get together to kind of coordinate efforts and work on issues like, economic development and all kind of different issues, don't you?
That's correct. Yeah, there's 11 counties in the DebtCog region. I am vice president. Next year I will be president of DebtCog. And yes, I'm very active in that. DebtCog has lots of programs that help a lot of people in our region.
You know, I've talked a lot about like economic development. For me, that seems pretty important around here. But obviously we want the right kind. If that I guess makes sense. So,
Sure.
We wouldn't want, a nuclear waste plant to come in or something like that.
Exactly.
When you see these things coming around, most of us live here because we like the lifestyle. We enjoy the traditions of the place, but at the same time, you hear things coming in from other sides. You hear groundwater, solar farms, and all these different sort of new things.
Yes.
I don't know. What's your opinion? Where do you draw that line between we have to, grow with the times and move on to the rest of the world, and the reason we live here is because you don't have to grow up with the rest of the world and keep up quite that fast?
That's right, Greg. Well, we'll start with solar farms. You mentioned that first.
Yes, sir.
I'm actually opposed to them. I think we were the first county established in Texas. I think we have a very beautiful county. It's diverse from the Trinity River to the Datches. It changes somewhat, which makes it even more beautiful as far as I'm concerned. I don't like the looks of those things. There's some around in East Texas. If they come here, they'll have to do it without my help. I've been approached for tax abatements, reinvestment zone to help get them started. This commissioner's court has turned them down when they've asked for that. As far as the water, there is a rather large ranch in northwestern Hickson County that the county line between us and Anderson County runs through that ranch. And they have proposed to drill 31 wells, water wells, that produce a tremendous amount of water and export that water to people in other areas. I strongly oppose that, and we're fighting it.
I think Tuesday in the meeting, there's actually an executive session that has something to do with groundwater, it looks like.
We're going to confer with our attorney that we've hired. We have a steering committee to look into this. They're doing a great job. And several years ago, Hickson County was not in favor of being in a groundwater district.
Right.
I think we're changing our mind on that somewhat, that it may give us some protection if we can get one created. And that's what our steering committee is looking at, as well as our lawyer that we've got hired.
I think once people understand it's not a, you and your garden hose type of thing, it's more about these big companies that want to, the right of capture. Amber Stelly, Dr. McCall and I have talked a lot about
Right.
that. It's kind of a complicated thing.
It is complicated.
But we have to defend it
We do.
because that's the only way we keep our way of life.
That's right. That's
Now,
right.
I got to ask you something not quite that serious, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So, I end up going to a lot of different events around the county, been to a few charity balls. And generally at those, you're always kind enough to donate your famous wine cake. Now, as you can see from our shabby, rundown offices, newspapers don't quite pay enough for me to ever have won that cake. But
Now look out.
But I'll tell you, the rumors are that it's amazing. So last year, Margaret Broughton, one of my favorite people out there. By the way, she's not feeling too well. Margaret, we love you. We're praying for you. Her table got the cake, and she brought me over a piece. That is the best cake. I'm telling you right now, the wife's looking at me smiling. We tried it. That cake is so good. And I'm not going to ask you to give me the recipe. That's fine. But if you would, that'd be nice. You like to cook?
Not so much. That's my only dessert that I bake.
Okay.
I can cook frozen biscuits and bacon and eggs and
Right.
stuff on the pit, but
Sure.
I'm not a famous chef by any means. That
cake's worth every penny they donate for it. I'll tell you
right.
that.
Well, it has raised a lot of money for worthy causes.
Yes,
I will say that, and it's fun.
Now, I did scold my wife a little bit because she just tried to squeeze it into a glass. I said, that's not that kind. Judge, before I let you go here today, what are you doing in your spare time? What do you like to hunt? Do you like to fish more? What do you do when you're not out judging?
Well, we live on a ranch in the eastern part of the county. My son and I are partners, and that keeps us very busy. It keeps him busier than I, but he tends to most of that. But hunting fish, yes, I still love the team rope.
Okay. Really?
I do.
Wow.
And
That's great.
I do still participate in that. My son trains team roping horses, so it's a job to him, and he still goes and competes. But I do it on a limited level. I still compete some. And but hunt and fish, yes. And it depends on the season of the year as to which one I like best.
Whatever season it is, that's your favorite?
That's what I like to do. Yes.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Last question, Judge, and you didn't see this one coming, so you don't have to answer if you don't want to. Elections next year coming up. Your position looks like it's going to be coming up as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like to make any news here on the podcast? Any announcement?
Well, I haven't made a public statement, but I may as well start now. I do plan to run for office for another term. And I was waiting to make that decision until I saw how my recovery was. I had a pretty serious surgery back in June, and I have completely recovered, feel better than I did before.
Sure.
Because I don't want to start something I can't finish. And so I've made the decision to run for office.
Well, you look great. Like I say, I saw you after that surgery, and it's good to see you looking full color and everything. Well, Judge, I can't, thank you enough for coming in today. I have to say, I never try to put my finger on the scale too far one way or the other, but you're one of my favorite people in the county because.
Oh, thank you, Greg.
And I mean that because.
Likewise.
Well, thank you. You genuinely love this place and want to see it do well and want to see everybody do well. And I feel like you just spend your days working on that. And we need somebody spending the days working on that because, 254 counties, not everybody gets the greasy wheel or whatever the saying would be. So God bless you. Thanks for coming and being a part of this.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate the invitation.